we go and meet everybody, say, hey, great show, and then still
Uh,
Remember this?
uh-huh. Amerie?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Sicko mode. I feel like this is Beyonce was in her nachos for that, for B-Day.
Now, this Amerie and Beyonce conversation is not new, but it just got loud again because fans are looking back at the early 2000s with a different set of eyes. Back then, Amerie had a sound that felt fresh, sharp, and different from what everybody else was doing in R&B. And when Beyonce's solo era exploded right after that, people started comparing the visuals, the production choices, the energy, and the industry push behind both women. The real question is not just who had the bigger hit. The question is, did Amerie's lane get overshadowed before she ever got the chance to fully own it?
And so I still feel like I haven't reached my peak yet. Like I feel like it's just, because it was like just starting and then kind of like, I don't want to say things.
In music, nobody creates in a vacuum. Every artist pulls from something: old records, past performances, producers, dancers, fashion, street culture, everything. But fans get suspicious when the same kind of inspiration seems to keep benefiting the artist with the bigger machine behind them. And that is why this Beyonce conversation keeps coming back. It is not only about one song or one video. It is about a pattern that some fans believe shows how smaller artists can create a wave, while bigger stars get the credit for making that wave mainstream. One example that still gets brought up is If I Were a Boy. The song is officially credited to BC Jean and Toby Gad, and BC Jean has explained that it came from her own personal heartbreak and writing session. The record later became a massive Beyonce single, but the backstory made people pay attention because it showed how a deeply personal song from a lesser-known writer could become global once a superstar recorded it. To be clear, Beyonce was credited as performer and producer on her version, while BC Jean and Toby Gad received songwriting credit. But for fans watching from the outside, it still became another example of how the industry can turn one artist's life experience into another artist's defining moment. Then, there was the Baby Boy lawsuit involving singer-songwriter Jennifer Armour. Armour claimed that parts of Beyonce's 2003 hit were too close to her own song, Got a Little Bit of Love for You. But legally, the case did not go her way. A federal judge dismissed the lawsuit after finding the songs were not substantially similar enough for copyright infringement. So, this is not something we can present as proven theft. But it does matter to the story because it shows how often Beyonce's biggest records have been surrounded by ownership debates, credit questions, and smaller creators saying they felt unheard. Destiny's Child also faced a major claim over Survivor. Producer Terrence T. Rob Robinson filed a huge lawsuit, saying he had created a track called Glorious, and that the group's hit was allegedly based on his work. Destiny's Child and their side denied those claims, and the reporting at the time made it clear both sides were fighting hard over the story. Again, this is not about declaring guilt. It is about showing why fans keep connecting these moments. When one superstar brand has repeated disputes around songs, people start asking if the industry machine is protecting power more than creativity. And then you have Irreplaceable. Ne-Yo has openly discussed that he originally wrote the song from a male perspective before realizing the message would land stronger coming from a woman. Beyoncé's version became an anthem, but even that record had public discussion around who really shaped the writing. Ne-Yo later clarified the song was a collaboration in the final form, with Beyoncé contributing to melodies, harmonies, and vocal arrangement. But the moment still added fuel to a bigger conversation. When a superstar performs a record perfectly, does the public forget the writers who built the foundation? The visual side of Beyoncé's career has also faced comparison. Her 2011 Billboard Awards performance of Run the World was praised for being futuristic and powerful, but viewers quickly pointed out similarities to Italian performer Lorella Cuccarini's stage production. Beyoncé later said she had been inspired by Cuccarini's performance and had connected with the people behind that concept. So even when the inspiration was acknowledged, the debate did not disappear. Fans kept asking where the line is between being inspired by something and recreating enough of it that the original creator gets lost in the conversation. When Amerie arrived with All I Have, she did not feel like a manufactured copy of anybody. She had a clean street summer R&B image, and Why Don't We Fall in Love gave her a soft but confident lane. The video was simple, but that The white tank, the denim shorts, the red heels, the confident street walk, and that same kind of early 2000s heat. Was it proof of anything by itself? No. Fashion overlaps all the time. But because both women were connected to Columbia Records and both were moving in similar R&B pop spaces, fans started looking closer. And the closer they looked, the more the conversation shifted from clothing to sound, timing, and industry support. The deeper part of the Amerie story is Rich Harrison. He was not just some random producer handing out beats. With Amerie, he helped shape a rhythm-heavy, go-go influenced sound that pulled from DC energy and made it feel radio-ready. That chemistry mattered. Amerie has spoken about how their creative connection felt special, and you can hear that on records like Why Don't We Fall in Love and later One Thing. But One Thing almost did not get the rollout it deserved. Reports and later interviews say Columbia was unsure about the record, wanted changes, and there was even interest in moving it toward Jennifer Lopez. Amerie and her team believed in the song so strongly that it was leaked to radio, and once DJs reacted, the label could no longer ignore it. That moment is important because it shows Amerie was not just waiting for permission, she was fighting for her own sound before the industry could take it out of her hands.
One Thing came out in 2004 because I leaked it over Christmas because everyone would be on break, so they can't stop anything. Exactly. So I was like, I'm going to be out here, I'm going to drop a match. You know? For me, I was like, look, I think I might get dropped. So I just want people to hear the music. I don't really care about getting paid for it. I just want people to hear it because I believe in it. And they're on Christmas break, so we can just do it. And at the time, they were trying to like give the record to somebody else. They were trying to do that, but they couldn't because I wrote on the record too, so you can't just take it. And that was frustrating for them, I guess.
Now, after hearing Amerie explain the One Thing situation, the Crazy in Love rumor becomes more complicated. For years, fans repeated the idea that Crazy in Love was supposed to be Amerie's record first. But Amerie herself has said she was never played that track. That matters, because it keeps the story fair. The issue may not be that one specific song was taken from her. The bigger issue is that Amerie and Rich Harrison created a sound together. Then that sound became part of a much larger mainstream conversation once Beyonce's solo career exploded. And that is where Green Light gets brought into the debate. Green Light was a Beyonce record from the Bidet era, produced by the Neptunes, not Rich Harrison. But listeners still noticed that it lived in a similar high-energy R&B funk world, fast drums, punchy movement, sharp vocal attitude, and that restless rhythm that made Amerie's One Thing feel so alive. This is where fans split into two sides. One side says it is just the sound of the era. The other side says Amerie's influence was being absorbed, without her getting the same level of protection, budget, or cultural credit. And when you look at how the careers moved after that, the contrast is hard to ignore. Beyonce became one of the most powerful entertainers in the world. Amerie, despite having records that shaped the sound of mid-2000s R&B, never got the same long-term machine behind her. Then, recent divorce reporting showed court documents listing Amerie's estimated monthly income at $5,735. That number shocked fans because it did not match the cultural memory people have of her. This was not some unknown artist. This was the woman behind Why Don't We Fall in Love and One Thing. So when people ask what happened to Amerie, they're really asking how an artist can help define a sound and still get pushed to the side.
Wait, that's not your record. Why did he give that record to you? And I'm like, he never played that record for me. But after our first album, see the thing, what happened during that time?
Tell us.
Like after.
Tell us what happened. This is gonna be all over the internet.
After the.
There's gonna be a whole line, girl.
It's really simple. It's like we did the first album, right? And after the first album came out, it made a lot of noise, and people really loved that album. And Jay loved the album.
Amerie and Beyonce being under the same major label umbrella made the whole situation even more sensitive. When two artists are competing for attention inside the same industry system, the bigger brand usually gets the bigger room, the bigger budget, the stronger radio push, and the better marketing plan. Beyonce already had Destiny's Child history, media training, a powerful team, and a massive fan base waiting for her solo run. Amerie had momentum, but she did not have the same level of protection around her lane. So, when her releases became messy and her label relationship fell apart, fans felt like they were watching a talented artist lose ground in real time. And for Amerie, that disappointment did not just look like business. It looked personal. because music was the thing she loved, but it also became the thing that reminded her of what went wrong.
It's kind of like a defense mechanism, actually. So I went through like 10 years where I didn't listen to anything.
Why?
But generally, see, I thought that it was because now I'm writing. My novel's coming out June 10th, by the way. I thought it was because, you know, you're in writing mode and you're not in that right now. But then I realized later, I was like, you weren't listening to music because you were trying to avoid it. You felt like it was going to make you angsty because you know it's going to make you want to make music, which is going to make you kind of like, oh, but this is the time, and oh, how last time this, and maybe that won't work, and how do I do this, and how do I do that? So all you're going to do is be frustrated. And so that just made me be like, I'm not listening to it.
And that is why this debate still hits a nerve. Some fans believe Amerie was never given the full chance to become what she could have been. Others argue Beyonce simply played the game better and turned similar influences into bigger moments. But either way, Amerie's name keeps coming back, because her sound still matters. One thing still feels fresh. Her early records still have identity. And now that she is speaking more openly about her career, fans are revisiting the whole timeline with new questions. So what do you think? Was Amerie's influence overlooked? Or is this just fan speculation going too far? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation is far from over.